Hello and welcome back to the second video of my testimony. You may remember the first one. I gave you a brief overview of our times of losing children and pregnancy. Well, this is going to be the first story of our son Alex, and stick with me because I'm going to talk to you about a rare chromosome disorder and how we actually got through that grief. So if you cast your mind back to our last video, you remember that we weren't really intending on starting a family so soon. We were going to have a little bit of time together as a couple, just to get to know each other a bit more and enjoy our time together. So imagine our delight in December 1994 when we heard that, or we had the news that Anita was expecting our first child. We were absolutely delighted. We were over the moon and started making plans and arrangements to have a little baby in the house. So I seem to remember we had an appointment to go to have our first 12-week scan, which was exciting times. And we were looking forward to seeing the ultrasound of our little baby kicking around. And as expected, we were told the good news that everything was going well at the 12-week stage, and we could start planning to get the house ready for a little bundle of love. And very soon the news filtered out to all our friends and family, especially through church. Everyone was sort of coming up to us and congratulating us and wishing us well, and everything was rosy. Well, as perceived, everything was going well, and we were looking forward to go to our 20-week scan. So we had the appointment date and we went along to the scan. And this was a sort of scan where you could see a bit more detail about baby. You could see arms and legs quite clearly. And again, everything looked rosy to us. Well, a couple of weeks after we had the 20-week scan, we had a phone call from the hospital saying that we should go to an appointment fairly soon. We were wondering what was going on, so we went to this appointment. And to our astonishment, they sat us down and said there were complications with the pregnancy. And on seeing the doctor, we were told that Alex had a rare chromosome disorder, 1 in 5,000 chromosome disorder called holoprosencephaly. And holoprosencephaly is an abnormality of the brain development in which the brain doesn't divide properly into the right and left hemispheres. The condition can also affect the development of the head and face. And we were told that our son would only have one eye, which probably would resemble a cyclops. And as you can imagine, this would really upset us. Well, as we thought, the news got progressively worse, and we were told that Alex's head wasn't going to develop, that he would have severe disability and abnormality, and that once he was born, he probably wouldn't survive and to giving birth to him. So you can imagine that was a big bolt from the blue, and it's just devastated us. Well, as time progressed, we were given two options. We could either allow Alex to go full-time and lose him at birth, or they offered us the termination. Well, as time slowly progressed, we had to come to a point where we had to make a decision. Did we want to go full-time and lose Alex at birth, or whether to go through with a termination? And it was heart-wrenching and heartbreaking for us both. But eventually we came to a decision, and we had a lot of prayer about this, that we were going to have to terminate Alex's life. Well, if you don't mind, I'm going to skip the details of the termination, and we're going to carry on with the story and how we coped with the grief. Well, at the time, we were both members of Motley Baptist Church, and the church were very good and supportive of us both. But I was furious at God. I turned my back on God through my grief. I didn't trust Him. There were times when I really doubted Him and doubted His existence, and it was a real challenge to me at the time, because I didn't know where my faith was going to go and whether I was going to get it back again. But I just remember it just being so hard to even sort of contemplate looking at the Word or praying and even sort of acknowledging God. So I guess I just tried to get on with life and try to get back to some sort of normality. But there were times where I sort of had to go to church because I was a caretaker at the church at the time, which is no fault of their own. So I had to go in and do the job, and it meant going back into the building again and listening to all the songs and the worship songs going on in the background and the prayers going on, and not really feeling anything. I'm feeling absolutely numb. So I was very much going through the motions within church life, and so not really acknowledging God at all and not wanting to pray. But thankfully I did have some support, and it was from my lovely wife Anita, and we seemed to be there for each other. Because when I was on the floor, Anita would be there to comfort me, and vice versa. When Anita was on the floor, I'd be there to put the arm on her shoulder and comfort her. And so it seemed to work really well for us both, and we got through a lot of months together just supporting each other. And I don't know, the church were probably praying for us as well, but I just felt nothing from any spiritual side or anything from God at all. Well, my guess is that you're waiting for a good end to the story, or it's not going to probably end the way you want it to end. It doesn't all end up in a bed of roses, unfortunately, because my faith still dwindled. I still turned my back on God. There was no way that I was going to even face someone who took my child away in my eyes, and I just couldn't get to terms with that at all. So in the short weeks and months after losing Alex, I was still really going through the motions of life and sort of debating what it was all about and having to come to terms with, just being depressed and down quite a lot. And this was really affecting me emotionally as well. I'd get angry, I'd get sad, I'd cry a lot, and I just didn't know which way it was going to turn. And in the background, the church were doing their bit. They were still praying for us as a couple. They were praying for me more so, just because I was down on the floor quite a lot. And I had a few friends that really supported me and got alongside me. But again, that numbness was still there. Well, the one thing I was sure of back then was my relationship with Anita, which was strong and solid and based on God. I know now that God was in our relationship and in our marriage. Anita's faith was strong, mine wasn't so strong, but he did keep our marriage, and he did help us to persevere. And through that perseverance comes hope. Something good can come from tragedy. And as you'll see in future videos, God can restore broken people. If you've been affected in any way by watching this video, please feel free to leave a message in the comment section below. Or if you have suffered a loss during childbirth, then I will leave you some links for where you can get some support in the description. Thank you so much for dropping in. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're new to my channel, and hit that little bell as well for more notifications in the future. God bless you. Take care.